This week I made $701 on options. Stay around. I'm going to walk you through every trade and then show you my full weekly performance breakdown in my analyzer tool. But first, let's see what happened in the market the last 5 days. This week on US markets, all three major indices closed the week in the green. The Dow led the charge, up nearly 2% at 50,580. Its first close above 50K. The S&P 500 tacked on about 1% to 7,473, and the Nasdaq climbed just under 1% to 29,481. The big story? Oil crashed over 10% to $96 a barrel, as Trump signaled an Iran deal could be imminent, easing geopolitical supply fears. That relief rippled through. The VIX dropped 6% to 16.70, and the 10-year yield slipped to 4.56. Gold held steady above 4,500. Bitcoin drifted lower near 76.5K. Bottom line, de-escalation in the Middle East is the trade right now. Falling oil and calmer volatility are giving equities room to run. Watch whether the Iran deal actually closes next week. Now, diving in my performance for the last week. The graph in the interactive brokers might be slightly off since I'm recording this today on Monday 25th, because I noticed yesterday the numbers were a bit different, and as you can see here, the graph is starting on the 19th, which does not include the Monday last week. Anyways, let's go with it. As you can see, my portfolio gained almost 0.5% last week due to stock gains and realized options gains, underperforming the SPX, which had almost 1% gain as well. I guess I'm okay with the weekly performance because if you remember, I sold cash secured put on Google, and also as predicted, Google tanked. That's how the market works. Anyways, my year-to-date performance is looking very solid so far with 30.7% gain, so I'm pretty happy about that. As mentioned, I got assigned 100 shares of Google due to the cash secured put I sold at the strike of $387.5. But taking into consideration the premium I got from selling the put, which was about $500, that brings my average price to $382 for the Google shares, which is not too bad considering the share price was over $400 not too long ago. That's the beauty of selling puts. Now let me pull up my analyzer so you can see how the week looked overall. This tool lets me import and analyze my options trading activity from interactive brokers and easily calculate the profits so I can better track how my options trading is doing, separately from the stock performance. As you can see, for the last week, we realized a profit of $701 before commissions. That is a gain of about 1.03% on my portfolio coming from the options trading. I had 2 trades in total and 2 wins, 0 losses. I paid $98 in commissions. Spoiler alert, the hefty commission payment should already tell you that they are because of Iron Condors. Moving on, checking in the portfolio summary section, we can of course see that the only ticker, which was SPX. Now getting into more details about my trades, here in the performance by ticker section, we can see more information about each trade. We see that all of the profit for this week came from SPX Iron Condors 0DTE. Normally, if I had stick to my rules, the profit would have been around $1,100. But because I was feeling insecure with the market being so volatile, I closed one side of the Iron Condors for basically 0 profit. Especially on Friday when the second Iron Condor was traded, there were news that Trump was close to making a deal with Iran. And if that news would have been confirmed, probably the stock market would have rallied hard and put me in max loss situation. Speaking of which, going into the next week, it's going to be a short week due to Monday being a holiday. Next week also my cash secured put on Cameco or ticker CCJ expires. Waiting how that will develop. If I get assigned the shares, I will start aggressively selling covered calls on that. Also, it's going to be interesting to see if Trump finally ends the war with Iran and removes this uncertainty from our heads. If you are wondering what approach I'm using on my portfolio, you can check my week 1 video where I explain the strategies I'm using in more details. If you find this interesting, hit subscribe and I will see you next week. Until then.